And, but with Johnny Cash, he wrote that high part because he wanted it to be symbolic of the teenage queen. And Sam Phillips didn't like the song, but it became a hit, so it's still around.
Well, it's a beautiful part that you
Oh,
sing.
thank you.
That. So, and well, how did you learn that part? Was it written out for you, or was it taught to you? You said sing this over this.
Usually
song?
we just heard it and sang it, which I still like to do in a group, contemporary group I'm in, sing with at St. George's. But it's a time of getting your ear trained and knowing what they want. Of course, a lot of it's very dated now, but it's what they wanted back then. That was in, you know, the ba-ba-da-ba-do and all that stuff in the background.
And so there were no other musicians in the studio, and they would just bring the singers in, and you would do your part.
That's a good question, because if there hadn't been, I wouldn't have met a lot of the people like the Bill Black Combo, Scotty Moore. I have an album that a German record company did, and my picture's in it, and it's Ballad of a Teenage Queen. Oh gosh, another guy, he produced a lot of these records. And so Bill was there. So there would be people there, but mainly we were just standing in front of the mic singing our parts and going over it till he would say, I don't like this or I don't like that. And we'd do it again. But it's very odd that I forgot I did Ballad of a Teenage Queen.
You forgot that? You forgot that you did that?
That's a story.
Oh, please.
You go for years and you don't realize what you were involved in. And maybe you're not singing with bands anymore. And all of a sudden, I was doing cabarets at St. George's Episcopal Church and singing big band songs and making money for the church. And customers were invited, and they were Googling me, and they said, why didn't you tell us you backed up Johnny Cash on Ballad of a Teenage Queen? And I said, I forgot. They said, how could you forget that? And I said, I have no idea, but I'm going to YouTube it and listen to it again. I went, yeah, that's right. But if you Google my name, there are people I sang with that I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Were you, when you were doing it at the time, was there a sense of whose records you were on, and when they came out, would you listen to them, or were you just a session singer and just sort of doing
just
it?
A session singer. When you're living through a historical time, you're living in it and through it. It's a gig, it's a way to make money, it's a way to make your living doing what you want to do. And you don't know in retrospect, I mean, you look at it this many years later and you go, wow, I was a part of that. This is amazing. You wonder why anyone's interested, but all of a sudden everyone's interested. A German record company, the $1 Million Quartet, wanted to meet me, and took pictures, and I'm sure everyone is going, it's this woman over there. But it was a time that I feel so very blessed to have been a part of. It was a time of making history, and I was a part of that history.
So you sang at Sun, and in the early '60s, did you do some work at Stax as well?
I did. I did some Stax work, and I backed up with a group. I was singing jingles, and that's another thing about Memphis music. But we did Booker T and the MG's Melting Pot, and that album hangs on the wall at the Stax Museum. So I can walk by there and go, hey, I'm on that.
What do you think are the key differences you've noticed between Sun Studios and Stax?
Different eras. Booker T implemented a new sound where Johnny Cash and Elvis and all of those guys were pretty much guitars and a lot of upright bass at that time. Bill Black played upright bass. But Stax became a little bit a swingle singer sound, a jazzy sound. They wanted that. But I can't find it. I'd like to find that, and because they always remix things later. They can take in what they want to. As on Charlie Rich Lonely Weekends, I think it's different now. But Stax was, didn't do that much at Stax, but it was great to be there with Booker T and the MGs, Memphis people. These are all Memphis people, so it's great.
Was the atmosphere different at the two studios, or do you remember?
I don't remember. At Sun, I was very comfortable. There was that warm, fuzzy feeling at Sun. The people were always nice. I didn't pick up any egos there. I think later, maybe at Stax, we just came in after they had done that. I knew Steve Cropper and some of those people, but it's, so my main memory is Sun. And then later, the new Sun. I think when Sam got out of it and Knox got into it. And so I would go over there. Although I remember Sam, because I was there till about 2 or 3 one morning singing backups. And we were all getting bleary-eyed together, but he was very nice.
So, and you continued session work. You mentioned the jingles. So
Right.
I heard somewhere that at one time, or maybe even today, you're the most heard
Voice around the world, in the
Please.
English-speaking world, yeah. We did jingles at the William B. Tanner Company. It's always the right place at the right time. And they said, well, we need a female lead singer who can read music and sings. Well, we have the one here. So I sang jingles 6 hours a day for about 15 years, and that's a lot of B-flats. So you wear your voice out. And so I got into announcing and voiceovers, and that was lucrative anyway.